of losing subscribers. We put ourselves on the line for you people so that you can wake up. And in return, we don't even get no support. We get a few here and there. But brothers like me, Rollo, other men in the truth, like Pastor Dowell NuBreed. Shout out to NuBreed. NuBreed Music and Motivation for joining. Appreciate you, brother. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to NuBreed's channels. You know what I'm saying? Solid brother in the truth, always putting out great content. You know what I'm saying? We deserve the utmost respect and support from the people because we put out information that actually is designed to change lives, to question what's going on, to find out what is really happening in today's day.
Now you just saw this hypocrite look into the camera with a straight face and lie to you and tell you that NuBreed and Pastor Dowell are men of God. Now this was 3 years ago, roughly 3 years ago. And those of you who've been following this channel, you know by now, RingoTV, last year, he's fell out with Pastor Dowell and NuBreed. But this just goes to show the hypocrisy because remember, once upon a time, he supported Creflo Dollar. And according to him, he sent Creflo Dollar in tithes and offering at least $100,000. Okay, this man is on record also. I have receipts of him calling Geno Jennings a man of God. Okay, RingoTV is not qualified to teach the scriptures. He's not qualified for advice on life or anything. Okay, because he's a hypocrite. He's been compromised. Okay, he did hours and hours of live streams about Kevin Samuels. Then a few years later, he did hours of live streams about Pastor Dowell. Okay, now we know Pastor Dowell is crooked. Okay, he's sleeping with another man's wife. But RingoTV did his best to separate from Pastor Dowell. But that doesn't work here at Fates and Gates because I collect all the receipts. All right, now I've called him out on polygyny. I've called Dowell out. I've called RingoTV out. And I've called NuBreed out on the false doctrine of polygyny. This is the reason why I started doing videos about them in the first place. Okay, because many of our brothers are being misled. And even some of the women are thinking that they have no hope to get married, so they might as well adopt the false doctrine of polygyny. And that's a trick of the devil. Okay, although it's not the women who come to this channel defending polygyny. It's these ignorant brothers. Okay. Now, did men used to practice polygyny? Did God used to permit it for the patriarchs in the biblical texts? Yes, he did. All right. But as I've stated in many of my videos, sin causes separation and it demands sacrifice. It demands penalty. Okay. Bible is all about covenants and curses. Everything that you witness in the scriptures is either a covenant or a curse. Okay. But RingoTV, in many of his older videos, because he slowed down his talk on the scriptures when it comes to polygyny, because he knows that I'm watching, all right? And I'm always here to rightly divide the word of truth. Okay, but on the old covenant, they had consecrations. Women were virgins. Women were more submissive to their men during that time. But the serpent seed corrupted the bloodline of men, all right? But I'm not going to do a teaching on that in this video. Okay, I talked about that in the previous video that I released, or should be releasing soon after this video. I just wanted to convey to you the hypocrisy of RingoTV. Therefore, whenever you're hearing him talk about something and he's looking into the camera with a straight face, I want you to remember all of the times that he shouted out Pastor Dowell, which is one of the most wickedest men here in the US of A. Okay. And he also shouted out NuBreed. All right. But it was convenient for him to do so at this time because he was going up against a giant, or what he considers to be a giant, in Kevin Samuels. Okay. And in this video, he talked a lot about how he believes Kevin Samuels is a homosexual. All right, which I think is also very hypocritical of him because he's had good things to say about Stephen Twitch Boss. Okay, the late Stephen Twitch Boss. All right, and it's alleged that he was a homosexual. All right, so for the purpose of rightly dividing the context here, putting things into context out of his own mouth, out of the words that came out of his own mouth, he just wanted to take Kevin Samuels down. And he was using Kevin Samuels' sexuality to do that. Okay, which is a low ball. Okay, if you're going to talk about someone's sexuality, at least use the scriptures. Okay, now I'm not saying that he never touched on it in the scriptures. I'm just saying the underlying motive behind it was to make sure that he took down another man to grow his own channel. Now, I talk about RingoTV again because he called out anyone who could prove to him that polygyny is a false doctrine. Those words came out of his own mouth. All right. So I put his feet to the fire. Put your money where your mouth is. You spoke it out of your own mouth, just like Dirty Low Dowell, Pastor Dowell. Pastor Dowell went as far as offering $25,000 to anyone who could debate him and prove to him that polygyny is a false doctrine. See, it's the spirit of pride. That's what it is.
I know a lot of you want to be liked. You want people to accept you. You want people to talk to. But when you follow the Most High, man, it's a lonely road. I ain't gonna lie to you. When you following the Most High, you're gonna live a life of loneliness. You could be with a woman. You can have multiple wives and be lonely.
You cannot be lonely having multiple wives, or at the very least, he's taking that out of context because he's trying to shape his own narrative by saying that polygyny is biblical, and it's not. Okay, some might talk about, well, Moses had multiple wives, but again, you got to remember that Moses, under the law of Moses, the Israelites were subject to consecration. Okay, so although he had multiple wives, he spent a lot of time in consecration, fasting before the Most High. Okay, but again, polygyny is no longer lawful. Okay, and this hypocrite himself doesn't even have multiple wives. He has one wife. Okay, but he's using that out of context to shape a narrative that you can be a righteous man of God and be in isolation and still practice polygyny. Okay, but I've talked about 1 Corinthians chapter 7 many times because of sexual immorality. The Apostle Paul, who had the Spirit of God, he said, let every man have his own wife and every woman her own husband because of sexual immorality, meaning that the program or the practice of polygyny, of which the Most High had the Israelites under during the law of Moses, they had corrupted that. They messed that up because they went away from the laws and statutes and ordinances of the Most High God. Okay. So when they were practicing polygyny, those consecrations, once they went into captivity, they couldn't practice those consecrations anymore because now they were under the way of the heathen. Okay, and we saw this in the book of either 1st or 2nd Samuel, or I believe 1st Samuel, where the children of Israel kept going to Samuel and telling them that they need a king. Okay, if he can anoint them a king, go to God so that they can make a king for him. Okay, and God told Samuel, they have not rejected you, Samuel, but they rejected me. So God expressed to them in detail exactly how evil their king was going to be because they rejected God. You see that? So at that time, Israel was in the process of being evicted from Israel, from the promised land. Okay. But it had yet to happen. It would take hundreds of years before that would happen. That's why when we get to the new covenant, Christ said, this is an adulterous generation. Okay. So I've been calling this hypocrite out on that. How can you practice polygyny without those consecrations? How can you practice polygyny in a matriarchal kingdom? How can you practice polygyny when most of the women that are available today are not virgins like they were under the law of Moses? This is why it's important to listen when people talk, because they'll tell on themselves.
A lot of you brothers are guilty. You talk about how our sisters have high body counts and how, the baby mamas and, these women and single mothers and all this nonsense. But you brothers are the ones sleeping around with our women, pumping and dumping our women. You don't give a damn about our women, but have every nerve to talk about what they're doing. And yet you out here trying your best to get them in bed, smash them, dash them, and then you want to come on YouTube and super chat brothers that bash women because of what men did to them.
Now I'm going to play the receipts and prove to you that this is a hypocrite.
The truth. And then when a brother give you the truth, you can't handle it. This is why men lie. This is why men lie. Men lie because you ladies cannot handle the truth. I'll get online, do a podcast. You'll have a woman in the chat crying about what I wouldn't be with no man that's doing this and I wouldn't. I'm telling you, your man got another woman right now. Well, my man ain't doing that. My man would never do that. Your man got another woman on the job right now. Guaranteed. There's another woman's breast on the job he's feeling up right now. You mean to tell me I go to a 9 to 5, I'm there all day, you got all these fine sisters there, you gonna tell me I'm not with one of them? I'm gonna have me 2 of them, 3 of them, something like that. Why? Because I'm a man. That's my job. My job is to deal with women and multiply. Who told you that a man's supposed to just be with you? Who told you that? And half of you ladies don't even be intimate with your man. You're not even in the bed with your man. You don't even love your man. You don't even provide the goodies for your man. And you expect him to just be like with just you and only you for the rest of his life, just suffering in a prison? Are you out of your mind?
Again, during this time, about 3.5 to 4 years ago, RingoTV was trying to attack Kevin Samuels. And Kevin Samuels was talking to women a lot about high body count and their sexual market value. So in order to attack Kevin Samuels and bring him down, RingoTV had to say what he said at the time to brown nose up to the women. Okay, and recently I did a video where he was talking about child support. So he went and flip-flopped again. RingoTV will parachute at any opportunity just to secure the bag.
Go out there, deal with another woman, get her pregnant. If your woman want to leave, let her leave. That's her fucking problem. You brothers are the ones sleeping around with our women, pumping and dumping our women. You don't give a damn about our women, but have every nerve to talk about what they're doing. And yet you out here trying your best to get them in bed, smash them, dash them, and then you want to come on YouTube and super chat brothers that bash women because of what men did to them.